What's up, Adam?
What's up, Peter?
We're stuck again, man.
Yeah, what's up with that?
We got to get, how many likes we got to get before we appear in real life?
Oh, we can't hold them hostage like that.
Sure we can. Ooh, this coffee's good. Well, we got 8 likes so far. That's what I'm seeing. Can we get to 20? Is that greedy? What's up, New Zealand? What's up, JL? Morning. Man, you guys are always ahead of us. Culturally and timely.
Yeah, right.
Yep, on Green Dolphin Street. All right, 20 likes, we will appear in person. Then again, if we say that, it's kind of putting the pressure on that we got to really deliver.
I know, man. I think we should
just
just go live.
I'm a little nervous. You know, we have some, we're still learning. Always be learning. Hashtag ABL. How's the sound, everybody? Is this good? Sometimes you guys have said it's low.
Sloppy.
Yeah, see, Tour Talk had to write it in. Maybe if we all start clicking thumbs up, we'll appear. Exactly. That's 14. Let's get to 20. So demanding and greedy. Joe says not going to do it. Come on. Joe, do you want us to go back to 3 times a week? That's all I'm saying. We always got that trump card on you. $18, what? Angel ending. I was asking about glissandos last week.
There it is.
What's up, everybody? We're just in here. You know, we're preparing for Wednesday. We're trying to accomplish a couple things, as it were, at the same time. Welcome, everybody. This is, you'll hear it live Mondays. How's the espresso today, my friend?
Oh my goodness, it's so good. Thank you so much.
It's a little Blueprint. We need to get Blueprint as a sponsor.
You're world-class jazz pianist. CEO, barista, podcast host / friend. It's great.
You know, so far, so good. It's Monday. Excited to have you guys here. What's up, Alan, Joe, Amy, Rob, Yao, Joel, Jan, Jazz Evolution. You know what I'm saying? Timothy. Okay, so there's 2 types of people in the world, Adam. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Good and bad. Well, we know that. But beyond that, there's 2 types of people. There are people that, when they're entering their name into, say, a YouTube profile, as it were.
Sure.
Might be like our friend Joe Muscara, who would put in his name. It says, what's your name?
Yeah.
And he writes your name. Amy Burcham. Yeah. Timothy Lang. Then there's other kind of people that are like, oh, this is my, finally I'm getting my chance to put whatever I either want to be or how I see myself. So you've got like Verbal Shark.
Right. Cheese Farter 900.
No, that's no Tortog. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's based upon like an inside thing or whatever, but that's fun. There's two types of people, right?
There's two types of people in the world. I'm always camels. That's my. If you see camels, that's
Really.
yeah. You know, when I was a smoker, which you didn't even know me when I was a smoker.
I could definitely see you as a smoker.
I smoked
though.
a pack and a half a day for like 12 years.
Why a pack and a half?
Because
Why
I just couldn't get enough.
2 was too much, but 1 wasn't enough.
Well, some days 2.
Hold on, we're
Some
gonna
days
work this
3.
into our health segment.
yeah. But I smoked camels for many, many years.
Yeah.
So that was an easy.
I actually was for a very short time, never like a pack a day or anything. I did smoke occasionally back when it was not only cool but was encouraged by the AMA and others.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. Those natural. I fell into that. The natural with the Native American on the
Native Spirit.
Native Spirit, because
You
you felt like
smoke
you were
those?
supporting something good and that it was all natural. It wasn't. It was killing you.
I dated a girl who smoked cloves for a while, which meant that I smoked cloves for a while.
That's
I
right.
was one of those annoying people.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course you were.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're back here. We're on the YouTube. We're excited to have everybody here. I hope that your weekend went well. Look, the world is a crazy place right now, but we are going to invite you into the virtual pod suite here.
We're going to
along
record our
with
podcast.
We're going to record our podcast.
I'm going to start recording the audio right now.
Bam.
Watch this.
Audio recording. That's how we do it.
That's how we do it.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
And we want to invite you in with our friends. Can you see here? You can just see kind of his arm there. This is Christian McBride. Maybe on this. Yeah, now you can see it. Christian McBride. That's Sean Jones. We're going to eventually get all the open studio artists in here. We just like to have them here because we can't be together. This is Adam Maness. And we are here to answer your questions, to hopefully give a little bit of encouragement. Maybe you guys will give us some. And just to commune about music, life, trying to, everybody's trying to kind of get better and make some progress daily. And do our thing, right?
Just be a little bit better today than you were yesterday.
That's right.
That's all you got to do.
Well, that's important too because I think Saturday and Sunday I got worse both days, so I got some catching up to do.
Yeah, well, that's the caveat too: is don't beat yourself up if you're a little bit worse.
Right. That's right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember this, Mr. Maness. We have, and I'm not talking to your dad. I'm talking to you because you're a little older now, so you can take it. We have some segments that we're doing now.
Oh yeah. What you got?
So we've got first. Let's do our practice check-in.
Okay, cool.
Because I think this is going to be interesting because I know I've been practicing a little bit thinking about our duo piano concert live stream, which is coming up on Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did know that, man. I'm working hard at it.
Yeah, me too. And so I think, a lot of my practice, I think solo piano works well, and we've done this before, but neither one of us has done it a lot over the years, two piano, because there's just not a lot of occasions to have access to another great pianist.
It's a rare treat. It's a rare treat.
Yeah, and actual two pianos. And so the idea is that I think it's always fun for me to think about taking solo piano concepts and techniques and just conceptions, and then how do you layer that in with another pianist that you really enjoy their playing to make something that's interesting. It's not just back and forth solo piano, although a certain amount of that works. I find works very well in this kind of
there will be
situation.
that. Yeah.
There will be that because you know what? It just works so well. You can't layer everything on top of each other the whole time, nor should you.
So it's what we were talking about a little bit last week. It's just one option of sound, right? So there's so much we can do. I was thinking about this morning that one of the things that I'm going to try to be present with when we play our duo concert is to not show too much aversion towards any sound. So, because we often think like, okay, well, we need to leave each other space. Sometimes that means just two solo piano sections, right?
Yes.
And sometimes that means if you're in the middle, I'll be out here. Right. That's another option for sound. But I don't want to be avert to that. But I also, if you're in the middle, sometimes I can be in the middle too, and that can create its own sound as well. Like if I'm always outside or you're always outside and I'm always inside or you're always inside or vice versa, if we're always leaving all this sonic room all the time, that gets repetitive and boring.
Right.
There are sounds to be made where we can be together. We can be like, I can be thin while you're thick. I can be super thin while you're doing thicker things.
Yep.
We could both be thick on occasion. I think it's just like anything else. It's almost like composition, right? Where it's like too much of one thing is not great. There always needs to be some evolution with the sound. And I think that's what's so exciting about the duo concert with two pianos is that we truly can do all of that. We truly, like if it's a duo with a trumpet, there's certain things you can do, and there's definitely everybody has their places and it can be killing. But this is like we have all of these colors to paint with, and I think the key for me is going to be exploring what we can get out of all of that, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's been sort of the same. You know, we haven't talked about this a lot, which I think is great. I don't like getting into a thing where like everything's planned out, but I think that conceptually we're coming from the same place in terms of understanding the instrument, understanding the power of it, and then also understanding that, you know, some of the same issues that come up with when you play with guitar and piano come up in a different way, but the idea is that, you know, you can get a little bit of addition by subtraction that can be very interesting. And number one, listen, it doesn't apply any more than a two piano situation.
No, I mean, it's almost like the guitar thing, but even more.
Yeah.
Because we can do more. We have a bigger range than a guitar. We can play more notes than a guitar.
Yeah.
So it's like we can really bear down on that. So I think it's really exciting. I mean, when we did it last year, was it last year?
Yeah.
It was around this time last year, right?
Yeah. It was like a little less than a year.
Right
about a year ago.
We did one night, 2 sets, right?
No, we did two.
Did we do 2 nights?
Well, we did a matinee. Remember, we did like
So
I think it was 3 sets total.
3 sets total. Yeah. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
We just had a blast. And it was really... I was like, man, by that 3rd set, I was like, okay, like let's go on the road. What are we doing? There was so much to get out of it, but you need to spend some time in there. You know?
Yeah, I know. I remember that was the exact feeling. That last set, I was like, oh man, and then you just don't get a chance to do it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to Wednesday. So please join us. That's at the open. It's right here, right? Open Studio,
So,
YouTube. I mean, it's not going to be in the pod suite. It's going to be in there.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a little Bosendorfer v. Steinway action. But it's 8 p.m. Eastern, New York City time on Wednesday evening on the YouTube channel.
So what specific, are you practicing anything specific for this situation, or are you just like getting your mind right for it?
No, the only thing I was kind of, because you kept coming in here playing the, the theme song. And I was like, I never really play. I mean, I do play it occasionally, but I'm never like practicing. But I did pull that one out a little bit.
I just want to be able to do the first part with you. I got it.
Well, what about if we split that up? Like, what about if I'll do the left hand, you do the right hand? I'm gonna comp and do the. Let's see how this works. I'll comp and you play the melody.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Give me 4. Give me 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Then we could switch. It's almost harder to play that line, man.
I mean, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Too hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a little rehearsal.
That was good.
So I've been practicing that just to so I can be comfortable with it. Also, I don't play a lot in 7 in my own trio. I have one thing that's in 7.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do a ton of it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, and it's been a while since I've played that with the trio. So I've been wanting to. I haven't spent any time in the pandemic with odd time signatures. It's my bad.
I mean, the whole pandemic is such an odd time.
It's such an odd time.
So you're gonna be
this whole damn thing's an odd time signature.
Well, I think too that because we do. I don't know if we have questions about it today, but it's definitely something that's come up like how do you play in odd time signatures? And one thing that I always like folks to think about is, you know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. You try to find that place of the groove, right? But like kind of next level, and we're normally thinking, oh, I have to master that first. But this is one of those things you can kind of practice as you go. So it's like doom, 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 doom. So you stretch it out over 2, yeah, and then you stretch it out over 4. So once you start kind of, you got to kind of go off the end of the diving board. You remember what it felt like when you get on the. Yeah, exactly. The big 3 over the 3 and back and forth. So you can be practicing that kind of as you're going, folks, and that's a fun thing to kind of find within there.
I've also been just working on for myself, just always with just trying to clear that path, right? Just trying to be mindful of what is happening as I'm playing. I spent a lot of time this week working on the mindfulness of playing. Because I think there's a lot of really great music that gets left on the table sometimes.
Yes.
When we're playing from the ego. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I don't know. That seems very... But it's what I've been working on in my practice sessions. Like stopping if I'm playing something that I'm not truly hearing or interested in, like
Yeah.
getting out of the robot, running your fingers
Yep.
mentality.
Well, that's great, and that's the kind of practice we've talked about a little bit, but we probably don't talk about it enough, especially for a gig like this or just gigs in general. Is that like there's the technique, there's the ear training, there's all the technical, as it were, not even this kind of technical, just the actual attributes of the music we need to practice. But then you got to get your mind right. Come on,
Get your
son.
mind right, man.
Get your mind right. Because, I mean, there's nothing like, and to me, it's like the sports music analogies are a little bit dangerous because they're such different endeavors. But I would say if you think about a great athlete that has done all the work, like there's a certain amount of element once they get into the game or onto the track or onto the ski slope or whatever, is like you've got to find that combination of going for it but having fun too. You know what I mean? It cannot just be execution and work. There's got to be some flair,
Man,
and panache.
did you
as it
watch?
were,
Did
as
you
the
watch
French might
SNL
say.
this weekend?
I saw selected highlights on YouTube because I was asleep by 10:30.
So Jack White was he was, I guess, the guy that was supposed to play was some young country singer, and
He
got
has COVID.
He had
Yeah.
yeah, or he was at a party with COVID or something.
Yeah.
So it was Jack White, and I'm gonna space on the drummer's name. Oh man.
Oh, didn't he do like an Eddie Van Halen guitar tribute kind of situation?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wow, he might have. But the first, it was Daru Jones. And, man, amazing. Like these low drums or whatever. But he did this fill in the middle of the first song, which it was just an eighth note thing. I think it was even just like, dun, 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 right?
Yeah.
And he was so joyful the entire time he was playing. And it was kind of like, dun, 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 dun. It was kind of a falling down the steps thing. And it wasn't like
Stevie Wonder Phil.
it wasn't on the grid at all. It wasn't on any grid. It was just, he was so feeling it.
F the grid.
And you know what? Nobody noticed that it was, no one cares. It felt exactly human or whatever. And I was like, that is the path right there. That guy's down the path. That's what I, with the mindfulness of all this or whatever, playing what you hear, these things we talk about, having fun.
Yeah.
It was so in the moment and so appropriate for what happened. And there's nothing you could teach about that. It was just the way he was feeling those eighth notes right then in that moment. And the entire studio lit up when he did it. And it was just,
great.
it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing you get your mind right in advance. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to try to just wait until you get into the moment, and that's how some people get frustrated because they're like, oh, like you hear things like, I wasn't able to play all the stuff that I knew. Nobody wants to hear the stuff. Hear you play the stuff that you know.
Yeah.
Like they want to hear you win.
I want to hear you.
And winning in terms of playing music is playing something that moves people. Like it's as simple as that. So if that's one note, if that's falling down the stairs on the drums, if that's being present and in the moment, but it's a lot of pressure to put yourself to just be like, okay, I'm going to go from this other kind of mentality, and then once the gig starts or the live stream starts, I'm going to be like, bam. So you've got to be not only preparing for that and practicing for that, but expecting that.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, at that moment, I'm going to be like, in the moment, I'm going to honor that time with these musicians, or if you're solo, whatever it is, to really bring something. And so when you're having fun, then you become part of the audience almost, and like part of the process. You're not just like up on high presenting down. You're part of the whole experience, and you're having fun, and you're doing your part by leading the musical part of it. But it really is something exciting when one can get to that level, I would say.
Man, so I have one more killing performance practice tip that I've been working on all week that you're gonna love. But before that, just for everybody live here, how about a smash to the old like button there?
That's right.
Let us know that you're liking this. Let this be seen by some more people. Let's get some more people in here. Go and hit that like button.
Hit that like button. Let's get to 1,000 before we continue.
No. I love your stretch goals. And then don't forget to leave your question for us in the chat. We have a couple, but we don't have a lot. So
that's right.
If you put your question in now, it's probably going to get answered. So go ahead and put that in there. Whatever musical question, piano question, life question, whatever it is.
And I'm going to be highlighting some of your comments here, as you can see, like Jazz Evolution. If I put somebody up comment that hasn't liked this video, you can be that's going to be like a karma situation, right?
What's up, Jazz Evolution?
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so this killer performance tip. You ready for this? So
I'm ready.
You got it?
Let's do it.
So the Peak Performance book, right, that Ian recommended to you and you've since recommended to me.
Yes.
So last week I recorded a trio concert, my first trio concert with my trio since everything went down.
Yeah.
At Jazz St. Louis. Nobody was there. It was just the three of us and Bob Bennett in the booth and Paul Henrik in the upstairs booth. And it's going to be broadcast this Thursday. And I did something that I never do before a performance, which is I really, really rested that day, all day. Like I made sure I warmed up on the piano. I kind of went through what I was going to do, right? All the tunes that I needed to know, but I didn't do much. Maybe 15 minutes at the piano, right? Instead of what I normally do, which is really go through an hour-long practice routine, really try to practice the soloing that I want to do, go through the changes. Yep. I did all that in the weeks leading up to this, but the day of, I completely rested my mind. I really considered it part of my performance that I was going to save everything. And then even when we got to sound check and we were kind of rehearsing at sound check, which is what you do at a trio concert.
Of course.
I held back. I didn't solo. I remember, man, being on the road with playing some stuff with Aaron when Seamus Blake was on the gig with us, and he would never do anything at sound check. He would sort of warm up his horn, but he wouldn't blow very much at all.
Wow.
And that's what I did. And I had such an amazing night. I just felt so energetic. I felt and I know this seems like I know this by now, but really having intention behind this, right? Yeah. And considering it part of the gig, that I just hold back and really conserve energy, really rest up for the performance. So I was stressing and resting all the weeks leading up.
Yep.
I practiced hard on Wednesday. On Thursday, I just chilled.
Right.
It was great.
We call that chill to the next episode.
So for our duo concert, I'm working hard today. I worked this morning. I'm going to work when I get home tonight. I'll work hard tomorrow, stress and rest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Going my 90 minutes and then taking a 25, little walk around the block.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably do a quick warm up on Wednesday afternoon, and that'll be it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Good stuff.
I don't know. I'm still experimenting.
Now I'm feeling the pressure. I thought we were just going to do a gig.
We're just going to have some fun.
You got your whole week mapped out. I got to redo my thing here. All right, should we? Oh wait, we got to do what else we got? We got fitness and diet checking.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, how you doing on the fitness and diet? Not diet, the food. Because you've been doing the plant-based Mondays, right?
Plant-based Monday, lentil soup night tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually had pretty much a plant-based Sunday because we did Pizza Head
for
dinner, vegan pizza.
Yeah.
Man, that pepperoni.
That's very good.
Yeah, it's not real pepperoni. It's better than real pepperoni.
And they're dealing with a cashew type cheese, I believe, right?
On their vegan. We didn't get the vegan pizza. We got the regular cheese.
Right.
But Sundays are kind of my cheat day, where I have the sugar. I had some Halloween candy, but anyway, other than that, man, pretty much again, I stuck to something that really works for me right now, which is just no processed foods at all, no dairy, no alcohol, just really trying to keep a really clean diet, lots of plants,
mind, clean body, clean life.
I'm averaging 2.5 avocados a day. I don't know what that's going to do to me.
I had a nice avocado yesterday. I never have that many, but I nothing wrong with the avocado. But cool. All right. Should we get into the? I'll just throw out there that yesterday on the exercise, I'm preparing for a half marathon on November 1st. Which is kind of coming up pretty soon. Yeah, I didn't tell you about that.
This is your 4th half marathon?
This will be my 5th. Or as I like to take the first 4 and say they were 2 fulls. But that's kind of cheating because they were. But so I'm doing it on November 1st. That's going to be here in Forest Park. Actually, in person, a very rare thing during this time, a socially distanced half marathon that's been approved by the city with a very limited number of participants. Obviously not elite level because I'm one of the participants, but my coach had me go out yesterday and do a long run, which is easy miles, which is good. He said 12 to 13, so I was like, I got to do 13.1. That's the half marathon. Make sure I could do it. But guess where I ran?
Where?
I will give you some hints. I've never ran there before. Okay, he's thinking. He's not sure.
Okay, I need something else. There's a lot of places that
it is not in St. Louis County, but it's close to St. Louis County.
St. Charles?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You ran in St. Charles?
Yeah. But you got to be a little more specific. So we're going to keep going with the
Okay.
C. The surface that I was running on was neither concrete, asphalt, nor a sidewalk or grass.
It was gravel. Katy Trail.
Yes. Katy Trail, which was great, man. I'd been on it before years ago, but it's really, I started in downtown St. Charles, and It's a little scary in St. Charles because St. Charles is open. They're wide open over there.
Yeah.
Although they're starting to close a little, but yeah. But I
Yeah,
started right
because
there.
they've been so open.
Yeah. But there, I started right there. There's a trailhead, a nice park there down Old Town St. Charles, right on the Missouri River.
Yeah.
And I went kind of west, like southwest. You can go either way, obviously. But it's sort of the beginning of the trail, although it does go up towards the confluence with the Mississippi. But I'm like, the Missouri River is so big.
Yeah.
And like that's only our second biggest river around here. It's pretty an amazing thing. But yeah, it just goes right along the river. It was beautiful fall colors. Quite a few bikers out, not many runners, but it was nice.
Yeah, I could never bike the Katy Trail because I always have the elite road bike tires, and you would just slip and slide all over.
But you know what? I see probably not that skinny, but you don't have to have a mountain bike.
No, they have like the hybrid tires.
Yeah,
that you can get,
quite a few of that. I was surprised. I wouldn't think that's a great.
Shall we get to some questions?
Let's do it.
All right. So Zach up at the top near the top, Peter, has a great question.
Yeah.
Peter and Adam, I know you are sophisticated jazz guys, but any tips for voicings when playing more basic rock and pop tunes? So yeah, Zach, I actually flirted with even doing like a pop piano course a few months ago. There's a YouTube video that I did with some
Blockbuster YouTube video. Right?
Well, it's not. I mean, we're a jazz company for sure. I stand by that video though.
That's
right. It's a cool.
It's some good info on there.
Concepts I love. Creating some beautiful pop voicings, like using simpler chords. So, Zach, the place to start on this is knowing the difference between closed voicings and open voicings.
Yeah.
Right. So, start with 4-note voicings. That means you'll do a triad with one of the notes repeated. Here's our C triad, C, E, G, C. This is a closed voicing in that everything is within the octave, right? C, E, G, C. So if we take this same voicing and we just take the right hand up, C, G, C, E. Now this is an open voicing. That means that the outside notes of the voicing are above an octave, right? They go beyond an octave. So closed means anything within an octave, above means beyond. And really, the closed and open refer to the triad itself. So this is actually a closed voicing, even though the C is so low. That is open. Right? I have C, C, G, E. Another thing that can help are just some basic orchestration principles for doubling notes, because you're gonna double notes with pop voicings, right? If you just do three notes, it's gonna be a little thin, right? So if I just do the triad in 3 notes, even in these big open voicings, it's just a little too thin. You need at least 4, sometimes even 5. So the thing to think about is the closed voicings and the open voicings, and then what notes to double. There's actually a lot of theory on what notes to double based on the overtone series. So the root is always the number one A-OK thing to double, Zach. You can double that a lot. And still, you can, here, I have 3 C's in the C chord. Sounds awesome, right? Here's just 1 C. Here's 3. It's so much more C-E, right? What happens if we did 3 E's, though? That's not so great. That's a bit loosey-goosey with the overtones.
A little Lutheran there, right?
Yeah. So the idea is that C is your first choice to double. G is okay. Here's a double G, C. I have C, and then a 10th up E, then G, C, G. And then E is really the last thing you want to double. And in fact, if E is in the bass, no other E needs to be in the chord, right? So if E isn't in the bass, kind of get away with it. A couple maybe. You got to be careful still, even with 2. But if it's the bass note, that's the only thing that needs to be in that triad. So now what you need to do with this information, closed voicings, open voicings. See, I'm super into this, Peter. I don't know if you noticed, but I've thought about this.
I'm confused.
Do a simple chord progression like 4-5-1, right? And practice doing different inversions with the bass. So maybe starting on the 3.
That sounds fancy.
Right? I just did the 3 with A, F. This is an F chord, F major, A, F. I put the 9 in. G, C, F. Maybe that's even too pop for you, so you can omit that. And then I went to a root position G, 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 B, D, and then root position C. Then you can just practice going in the different inversions.
Yep.
All different kinds of ways. You know. And just keep working that. It's so much fun, actually.
Yep.
So there's all different kinds of ways to do that, but then you can do that in every key. Then you can do that with major, minor, diminished, and augmented chords, and that'll get you most of the way through most pop tunes.
That's great. And, you know, the only thing I'll just add in terms of the question, you guys are sophisticated jazz guys. I would say that this is a little bit of a sort of bad rep or good rep or too good of a rep that we get as jazz guys. Like, it's hard to play these simpler chords. Like, in some ways, I think to a fault, maybe jazz musicians hide behind complex chords, complex voicings, you know, all the time. And we feel like that makes us more sophisticated than we are. I mean, being able to play some really good simple voicings, I mean, to me, that's the ultimate level of sophistication. So I think that that's something that jazz musicians we need to pay more attention to. Simplicity, addition by subtraction. We mentioned this earlier, really being able to, and we should never feel like we're above these basic rock and pop tunes, pop voicings.
Someone here, Peter, this
Yes.
isn't a question, but Frank mentions Peter's root and two was quite a mind opener. Good stuff. Can you briefly explain that? Root and two?
I forgot that last week.
Okay,
I already
excellent.
did it.
Cool.
Yeah, well, no, just real brief. Actually, I think the video is still up. It may not
cool.
be staying up, but the Jazz Piano Method Live that I did last week, which is going to be like a monthly or bi-monthly thing.
Nice.
Well, it might be a pro only. We don't know yet. But the idea is, I mean, there is a video on it, so I won't go into it too deeply. But the idea is that we talk about root and shell a lot, and root shell pretty. You're a great concept. So you got root. This is F minor, you know, F, third and seventh, A flat, E flat, and then pretty would be that, G. But trying to start like when we want to play. You know, all that kind of inner movement. Everyone's always wanted to know how to get that, and I always kind of struggled with figuring out how to explain that. And I think, in order to open our ears up to get to the point where you can start to do that, thinking about some other inner movements besides that are kind of expansive on the root and shell. So we would talk about root plus 2 being, you know, 7th and 9th. So let's say we're going to do C minor 7 to F7 to B flat major. So we normally would be thinking of, that's root and shell, right? So if we go root and 9th, and then maybe we go to sharp 9 and flat 11th, and then 7th and 9th, basically like 1 plus pretty in a way.
Nice.
And so what was I doing it on? What was it? Was it
Stella?
Stella, right. So you got 5th and 7th, and then you're gonna go to, so you're using voice leading to 7th and flatted 3rd.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then, you know, so that's all it is.
Yeah.
Root plus 2 notes that are not the shell.
Yeah.
And then let that lead you with voice leading to the next place you're going.
That's great.
Yeah.
Check out this question here from DeFunky Unit.
The Funky Unit!
Watch Peter kill it last Friday. Even noticed he uses the soft pedal. Any tips, tricks, guidelines on using the soft pedal, a.k.a. una corda, in the jazz context? Thanks.
You don't like French, man? Or Italian. Sorry,
It's
that's
fine.
Italian.
It's fine.
You were right before we started. You were like un café, por favor.
café.
You were good with that Italian.
I was good with I am good with that Italian.
Okay, so soft pedal. When were we talking? I was talking with someone about this.
We were talking about last week a little bit, but
Okay.
what's your general concept on it?
So you want to learn. First of all the pedals. There's many different places that it's not on or off. It's not a binary like computer kind of pedal, like a on or off USB pedal. So you want to learn how all the different gradients of that pedal do, especially the soft pedal, because depending on the instrument and the condition of it and the maintenance of it, you're going to get some good, you might have 200 different possible places within that. It's
200.
Okay, maybe 100. I mean, theoretically, it's infinite because it's not, you know,
that's true.
It's like an analog. It's not.
I mean,
digital.
how much control do you have over that 3 inches?
200. Leave that alone. Okay, so the idea is that you've got all these different places that you can use the soft pedal. So what I'm seeing maybe is a mistake, or not a mistake, it's just sort of not the most creative way to use it. It's just on or off. So when we slam down the una corda, what we're getting
un café,
like we're getting a whole lot less, one instead of two or two instead of three strings being struck by the hammer, because it's moving over on most pianos, depending on how it's set up. You're getting less resonance, less strings, less sound, which basically, whenever you want that sound, you want to go for that.
Yep.
But it's very rare that you want to just have a totally thinner sound, although there are times. So I find myself not necessarily using the una corda in the same way, even on the same piano. It's more like, how does it sound in the hall? Like if there's like huge amount of resonance, I'm leaning on that, especially solo piano. Like
That's right.
I'm trying to be able to have a broader palette so that when I go really big, I can do that. And like the hall's already making everything reverberate so much, so you're reacting kind of to the sound that's happening.
That's right. So one thing to understand about how it works is a piano tech can set that depth and how much everything moves over on the una corda. So they might not be that proficient at making it sound the best. And also the piano might change by the last time it was set. Also, most techs don't check it.
That's right. And you can go to due corda. That's a dangerous situation there.
It's a dangerous situation. But what you want to do, and oftentimes, just to your point, Peter, I'm either going between, sometimes I'm just barely tapping it because that's what sounds the best.
Yeah.
It's like when you mute like a bass string or a guitar string, right? When you're playing guitar or bass, you don't just put your palm on there and you're like, okay, it's muted and I don't care what the results are. Right. The same thing with the una corda. So you need to, when you sit down to a new piano or even on your piano, experiment with where the best sound is and the different sounds, because sometimes you can use more than one depth depending on what the situation calls for.
Yeah. And so that's the main thing. I think with all the pedals, but especially the una corda, is just experiment on different instruments. And if you're always playing the same one, that's great. You can get to know it. But all the different places that what it sounds like, and really it's so much ear training with pedal. Like there's technique, of course, but it's so much ear training connected with it, I think. Just gonna say what's up to John, no question, but hi from Spain. Duo, you rock. Cool. I'm gonna throw up this one from our friend Rob, because this is kind of a little bit in line with that. As pianists, you have to step up to different instruments all the time. How do you adjust to the particular piano you're playing at a given night? So this is another one of those where what you were talking about as far as mindfulness, equanimity, being prepared mentally for the unexpected, being prepared for something that's less than optimal. I mean, look, if you play piano and you've got that kind of, like, you're so specific that something has to be exactly the way you want it, you could approach the greatest instrument being maintained by the greatest piano technician ever and be dissatisfied because it's not what you're expecting. So it's like we have to have, and look, if you look at, I really believe the personality of most really good pianists of any genre that play piano, the ones that are successful are the ones that have a very flexible attitude, because you have to.
Yeah.
You're not going to succeed at doing this. And you can't just be like, well, that's great. I mean, I would say that Keith Jarrett maybe is an exception, maybe not the most flexible brother out here, but he also has learned, how to adjust his will to making sure he has the instrument the way he wants it. So like if you got the clout that Keith Jarrett is, then you can be like, it's got to be like this, and it's got to be set up.
If you have the money and the will that Keith Jarrett does to have an instrument that's as high quality as he can have, then that's what you do, But if you don't, then you need to work on your acceptance, which, by the way, Keith Jarrett has loads of that as well. So
probably more than is the legend would imply.
Totally. So I would say, exactly to your point, Peter, you just have to expect the worst, demand the worst, accept the worst.
That's right.
Just get ready for, practice your stoicism. It's going to be terrible.
That's right.
It's going to be hard to deal with. It's going to be unskillfully made and unkempt piano, and I have to get some music out of it, and it's okay because it's me, and I'm going to be me.
But I mean, what a great thing when it's a horrible instrument, you can make it sound half decent.
For sure.
I mean, that's a lot, and sometimes that's easier than I've played on some incredible pianos. I'm thinking like in Germany, Steinway 9-foots. Like there's one in the hall in Essen, the Philharmonie Hall in Essen. And the guy who maintains this, the technician, is like a legend there with Steinway and beyond. And that piano is perfect. It's so much pressure. It's like, now you got to play perfect.
Yeah, now you got to be as good as this
like,
piano.
You got no excuses,
Yeah.
you know. So I think even with the greatest instruments and everything in between, but in terms of like how do you adjust to the particular piano you're playing on a given gig, this is more sort of mindset stuff. We're saying prepared.
Yeah.
What I like to do when I'm going to another piano is to take some time, which is normally when I first sit down on it, and do some specific things, some sort of specific scales and exercises that I like to do that I'm so familiar with and I've done on so many different pianos that I can get to know the piano as quickly as possible.
That's right. It gets you a base level of where you're at.
Exactly. Because we never know, like, ideally you have 3 hours, 5 hours, but that's very rare.
No.
Like, sometimes you come in and you're playing and you're like, oh, I'm going to have time. And then all of a sudden the drummer's in there playing loud, or they're like, oh, it's a union break or whatever. So I like to take the first 5 to 10 minutes to be like, I want to really get to know what the piano can do, what it can't do. I mean, I think all
and then what can you do that day as well? There's also that with sound.
That's right. Well, you don't have to worry about that. But
yeah, I've been resting all day. I'm fine.
Yeah. No, but so then, because it's like a lot of things, like if you're thinking about, it's very easy to fixate on what the instrument can't do, and even the greatest instruments can't do some things as well as some others. But to me, it's more about like, I mean, the piano is so big and powerful. Find what it can do. You know, let's can we get a little lemonade? Can we make lemonade out of lemons?
Can we have nice pianos?
Can we have nice pianos? And so like maybe that's like a chance for you to really explore. Like the upper range sounds great. Like a lot of the, it used to be.
Don't do it on that. Don't do it on the Hammer 88. Yeah.
But I mean, we want to look at the bright side because most pianos have that. Now, if it's just a total dog, I guess you can. I don't know. What do you just not play or something? The only time that's happened, and it wasn't me, that our production production manager.
Hey, own it, man. Own it.
Yeah. Well, he got to the club in Istanbul. I think we talked about this before. And there was an upright piano. He's like, Peter's not going to play on an upright. Woo. And so they went out and bought a piano. I felt so bad. The lady was crying. Like, because I got there was this little Yamaha Baby Grand, and it had the price tag like still like sitting on it. And they're like, we went and bought this because your guy said that you wouldn't play otherwise. And I was like, that's right. No, I didn't say that.
I feel terrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe they left the tag on so they could return it the next day.
Peter's not going to play on an upright. Wow, that's great. Just above Rob's great question, Rob, is Tour Talk's question. Last week when you were replying about gospel, you used some terms I'm unfamiliar with, like a G2 chord. Also, you said going 4 over 5.
Sounds like a Pontiac vehicle,
I know,
right?
Pontiac G2. I think I know what Tour Talk's talking about here. So yeah, like a G2, it's really a G add 2 if you're familiar with guitar, which I believe you are. It's really, instead of thinking about that A as the 9th, because there's no 7th in this triad, right? So we said
triad is Sol 7.
We were talking about like G2 over B, and this actually goes Tour Talk right along with that triad conversation I was just having. So when we have a B, like the 3rd in the bass, which we do with this G major chord, we don't want to double that 3rd. We don't want 2 Bs because it really diminishes the punch of this chord. But we can add a 4th note to this.
You can augment it with
an A. Yeah. Add the 2. Right? This voicing here in any inversion actually, except for maybe this one. No, even that sounds good as hell. B, G, A, D in any inversion sounds awesome. So this is what we were talking about when we talk about G2. As far as 4 over 5 in the key is C, I have an F triad, F major triad, just
That's
over
the Michael McDonald special right there.
F triad over a G, which is the 5 of C, right? Yeah. So, and then also, and then we said 1 over 5, so that's C. 1 over 5 means C, the root, or the tonic, over just the 5 of the bass 5.
That's the tonic to the gin.
Yeah, not the chord, but just the 5G. So 4 over 5, F over G, just slash chords really is what we're talking about.
Yep.
So. Slash chords. My St. Louis accent was thick on that one. That's just slash chords.
That's great. All right, our buddy Colleen out of the great state of Colorado says here, what's up, Colleen? You said in DGPS today that Peter might talk a little about triad plus 1 together with minor pentatonics. Is this maybe related to what we were just talking
Colleen,
about?
I said if you had a question about minor, we talked about minor pentatonics and triad plus 1 today in the DGPS, and I said if anybody had a question about that, wanted to talk more about that, now would be the time.
Is that like
I don't think you would know what a triad plus 1 is.
Yeah, it's just a triad plus like 2, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I was thinking it's kind of related to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
In a way.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I always think about the inversions of that. as being
Exactly.
super
Yeah, that's what we were
interesting,
working
right?
on today. Actually, is like that idea of
Yep.
and how this can relate to, like, say if you do like a C minor 7.
Yep.
No, let's do like a C7. Right, you can work through like a G minor pentatonic.
Yep.
Right? Like McCoy Tyner will do this. G minor pentatonic to C triad +1.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a combination of shapes that sound really good together.
Yeah, and I think that there's always like that point of resolution that you can play with tension and release. In that case, between that F and the E, right? So you got the G minor pentatonic with the 7th, and then the 3rd, of course. And that kind of goes in what I like my little triad concept: B flat, C, B flat, and all the different inversions. But you can do the triad +2 with that also. Right?
Yeah. Or plus the 4.
Yep. Yeah. And it's important for folks to realize too that these are like, it's so easy to get caught up in the harmony and the melodic implications of this, and it being a harmonically based thing or based on the scale. But these a lot of times come down to rhythm when you're actually playing, because 3-note and there's no right or wrong, but it's just different options. 3-note patterns, 4-note patterns, 5, 7, all these different things can be constructed in a way that can be very interesting and very different. So if I'm doing like 4-note patterns, like, and then I do some breaks and I offset them, it's very different than it's a 3-note thing, right?
Yeah.
And then if I'm bobbing my head, it's all the better.
I mean,
right?
then it all works really, really well. Well, you know what? So you might think about this, all these concepts, y'all, like whatever it is, triad +1 or triads, pentatonics. In that great Fred Hirsch masterclass, he said, don't think about it as exercise, just think about it as experiments or exploration. And
Absolutely.
so, you need to realize that this is different than, and what the timing is and all that stuff. It's really fun to play with too. So it's not just like I have to put these in a box. Like you're just really
a robot going into a box. Robot box.
You're really getting a good handle on what works for you.
Yep.
Stealthy Zebra, right below Colleen there, says, any tips on how to build and maintain a repertoire of blues, bebop licks, and lines?
Mon ami.
So the biggest tip for this Stealthy Zebra is listen, listen, listen.
That's so funny what you just said.
The biggest
tip for this Stealthy Zebra. I'm thinking of, I was on a safari last year in Africa.
Them. That's on them.
I was thinking we saw some stealthy zebras. I'm sorry, go ahead. I digress.
Oh, no. I was just saying listen is really the only way to get this. Like,
of course.
You're not going to keep a journal, a collection, like...
A pujo?
You're not going to keep them behind glass like butterflies pinned to, you know what I mean? Like a collection like that. You have to listen. And this is going to change, by the way. As you kind of go through time, you collect different things, and then things fall out of favor in your brain, and that's cool.
And I think that it's okay. Look, as you play more and the years go by, this gets me more comfortable. But I think it's fine to, it's kind of like if you have a lot of thought. I've always got a lot of thoughts going on in my mind. If I have any faults, it's that I'm thinking too much. Adam.
You think a lot.
I'm a planner.
You're a smart guy. You're a smart guy.
No, it's got nothing to do with smart. It's smart ass.
Well, we will come to you with this. You are a smart dude.
No, not at all. But what I'm saying is, like, if you have ideas, sometimes we have a panic. It's like, I got to write that down. This is such a brilliant idea. And then you write it down and you're like, wow, that does not look as brilliant, which is sometimes the reason you have to write it down. But what I find
I feel like this is very familiar. This just happened to us about an hour ago.
It did. Exactly. But, sometimes if I have 10 ideas in a day, like if I kind of sleep on it.
If I have one idea, it's that I have too many ideas.
Yeah, if I have one, if I have my biggest fault, I have too many ideas.
Sorry, go ahead.
But so the idea would be that sometimes like you go to sleep or you take a shower or you just something different, and then you come back to it. Like that one good idea or maybe two will percolate to the top without you having to do a lot of work. So like this idea of maintain a repertoire. Worry about the repertoire of blues, bebop, licks, lines.
Yeah.
The maintenance, that's going to be like your subconscious kind of doing that. Don't worry about forgetting them. I know that that's hard because you're like, oh, I've got this great thing. I've got to remember it. How am I going to use it? You might not use it for 3 months, and that's okay. Like, let it percolate in an organic way. It will be there. If you build it in an authentic way, it'll be there for when you need to pull it out, and it'll come out in a cool and organic and really in the moment kind of way, spontaneous, that we want to have in jazz. As opposed, look, I mean, if you love it so much that you just got to keep it, then write a tune with it. That's probably the tip, actually, to do it. If
For
you're
sure.
so scared that you're going to lose it. But if you want it to come out and you improvise, you can't catalog it like you say with the butterfly button and then pull it out. It's gonna be dead.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Miro has a great comment, just brand new down
Are
at
we
the
down?
bottom.
Okay, we're jumping down. We're going down.
He's kind of calling us out here. Hey guys, in your pentatonic boot camp, you don't always use the same fingerings every octave going up. Is that normal? And how should I approach thinking great scale fingerings?
Okay, let me grab this one first and just say the right there is no right fingering for anything except what's right for you.
Yes.
Okay. So we always try to, and hopefully we did it on there. I know we're always talking about suggested fingerings.
Yes.
So always you've got to find the right thing for you. But the right fingering is not the most comfortable fingering, because it's like, if you learn to play tennis, or I'm trying to think of something that I can do, but I can't do well. If I were to go out and play tennis with you, Adam, because you're quite an accomplished tennis player, like, I can get the ball across the net, and what's comfortable for me is probably really bad technique. But it's the most comfortable way for me to hit it. If I kept playing a lot, I'd probably injure myself.
Yeah.
So for me to stop and then, like, say you would show me, or a tennis pro perhaps,
Lay your wrist back. Yeah.
Do that kind of thing, then it's not going to be comfortable to me, though. It's not instantly comfortable. I have to practice that. And then after a while, I'm like, wow, that worked. I'm going to be worse at that at first. In fact, from my crappy technique or whatever.
Yeah.
But in the long run, it's going to help. So I look at fingering like that. A lot of times you do want to take people's suggested fingerings and don't be like, oh, that doesn't feel good to me. How do you know? You only tried it one time. You try a vegan diet for one day. Oh, I don't like that. I miss barbecue. Well, give it a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try it 3 days. Then you're really going to hate it. You think you hate it now. But you just don't, especially with the physicality, like, fingering is so much based around where you're going, like what you're setting yourself up to do. Because when we finger, and it's like, so we talk about pentatonic stuff, it's all about, like, setting up the next part of the party, right?
Yeah.
So there's just no way without, unfortunately, practicing things for a while to find what works for you. Now, I think we have some darn good fingerings on there. Are we hypocrites and don't always play them? Apparently, Miro says
100% yes. Yeah.
So that there are multiple ways to do it, but regardless, I would say if we're giving multiple options, try them both out and see which one works.
Well,
best
also,
for you.
we both did some fingering work on the workbook that goes. By the way, we have now. Did you know this? With the help of our buddy Max Scamese.
Yeah.
Every single pentatonic scale, right hand, left hand, all keys, has a fingering to it, a suggested fingering, right? And again,
now we've got 3 different opinions.
Now we have 3 different opinions, though. But this is what I'm saying. So when I was doing guided practice sessions with some of your fingering, I was like, well, I want to stay here with Peter's fingering because that's the way we taught it. But yes, I definitely probably abandon it a lot, even sometimes halfway up the scale, because that's how that works. But also, as improvisers, we don't want to just be locked in to what we think the fingering should be for this, because, as you say, you want to be open to the sound you're hearing. That is king, not the fingering. It's not like in learning a Chopin piece where you really have to lock in your fingering, and it really matters to perform it in the way to get the sound you want. You have to get the sound from your head first, right? You have to be able to hear the sound that you want first in jazz, and be able to have good general fingering, but also have flexible fingering so that you can get the sound first and not be just beholden to some idea of, I got to have this fingering right. We want to have as good fingering as possible. Totally. Do we need to just really lock into it at all times because it's the most important thing? No.
Yes. Oh, sorry. No. Okay. No. Now we're in alignment. Well, and 2, you got to remember, it wasn't that long ago that we were very anti giving fingerings. We acquiesced, as it were, because
and we never will again.
Well, we may. We love the people, but no. But it always feels a little bit I feel weird teaching or prescribing something that I didn't learn. But I might execute on, because like not that I didn't learn good fingering, but I never learned like pentatonic.
You're trying to
fingerings.
teach wisdom here, which is just experience that you've had over the years of having to get this sound out that you heard your heroes play. I'm sorry, I'm breaking this down for you.
No, you're absolutely right.
Sorry, but that's true though, and it's hard to teach wisdom. That's just something that's kind of gained from experience.
And I know it sounds like it's a cop out what we're saying, and it is a little bit, but we put in these fingerings. I almost feel wrong to make it so precise and consistent.
Yeah.
That like this is, because I know people like won't hear me saying, even though we say it a lot and we write that like your mileage may vary and like you got to find the right fingering for yourself. It's tricky because you do have to find the right, but like I say, you cannot go with what the knee jerk, like this is not more comfortable for me or my hands don't work that way, because you have to try it enough to give it a chance. So
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and man, I know we have so many people who come to us because they want to learn jazz and they come from more of a classical background.
Yeah.
And you know how that is, man. Like that, fingering is very much emphasized as a path towards a really good sound, because it is. Because if you're playing some, 3-part inventions, it really matters. If you're playing some Chopin or whatever, Debussy, fingering, getting a solid fingering program really matters on each piece.
Right.
But it just isn't. It isn't the way forward in the same way. It's just a different way to think about it. So
Absolutely.
we'll do more. We'll do some more. We'll do some more.
Right.
I guess. But the thing is like we learned with that pentatonic boot camp, we gave a little bit of the fingerings, and people were like, well, I really need to be beholden to these fingerings, so I need more and more and more. And I think we're trying to de-emphasize their importance.
Absolutely. So we got a couple comments. We're just coming up on an hour, so we're going to sign off in a second here. But we got some important messages for you in a minute, though. But there's some stuff with our health and wellness section I just want to put on here. Amy is saying cashews have about as much have as bad a karmic imprint as animal cheeses because of what their processing does to the hands of the girls and women who shell them. So that's good to know. I'd heard that there was some problems with that. I actually don't eat cashews at all.
I have the first bag of cashews in my cabinet at home this week that I've had in months, and so that's good to know, Amy. I'm going to go look it up.
I don't eat it all because our daughter is very, very, like, we'll go to the hospital. It's like allergic to tree nuts, so kind of off those anyway. But thank you for that. And then also, Joe, I'm doing a virtual half marathon in 2 weeks. That might be the same day I'm doing mine. So we got to be thinking. Oh, you might be a week before. I think I'm in 3 weeks. So good luck to Joe on that. And then Kim is saying no meat, no dairy, no fish, no oil, low salt. No life. No, she didn't say that. Low salt on day 45 and getting used to it. So congrats to Kim for
Kim.
jumping in there on some good health stuff. Hopefully you're feeling really good. You've had some great experience with more than just day 45 of things, not doing things, eating, putting things in your body that you like a lot.
Yeah.
Any advice for that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, man, for me, I think working on the intention behind it, just like anything else, whatever it is, if you start any kind of new program, whether that's practicing or some kind of health thing or quitting cocaine, like whatever that is.
You've been doing great with that.
Yeah, I've been doing.
I haven't seen you do coke in years.
In years.
If
no,
ever.
but you know what I mean. Like, really, I think. I wanted to be kind of playful with that, but I think really kind of coming to terms with your intentions behind it. For me, that's everything.
Yeah.
That helps keep the ship going in the right direction.
And then we've got from Coach Ian here, we've got love this anecdote. He made a mistake on here. Such an important principle Adam is illustrating here.
Oh, you know it.
Except he meant to say Peter. Okay,
but
that's okay.
You
know it. You got your digits a little confused there. No problem. It's all good. Cool. We got some. Hold on. What else we got? We got some messages. Oh. Are we going to do we do that on here, or is that the audio podcast? Well, first, we want to let folks know, we want to say thank you guys for being here.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, because it's a pleasure and an honor just to talk with you, Adam, but to have folks tuning in for your great questions for us. I mean, this is energizing to us. We love this. We're only, like 5 weeks in now with this, but we've got a nice little community. We already have the community, but it's so great that you guys meet us here on Mondays. But just so you know, this is part of an audio podcast that is 5 days a week, daily, daily, 5 days a week, work week, and is available wherever you get podcasts. We're award winning. Now, the awards have been given so far, but that's okay. You know, you got to love yourself. But
Wait, we gave ourselves awards?
well, we did. Remember, we were up for the pot. I was calling it the potties.
The potty, yeah.
But it wasn't it was like the
something else,
podcast awards. We were finalists. We lost out to like Switched on Pop, some big time.
Who?
Podcast, Switched on Pop. Yeah. Well, they were guests of ours at one time.
Yeah.
You can get our podcast if you're into the audio thing. Check it out. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. And we're going to record a couple right now. And what else do we got?
Oh, you know what? Just to let everybody know, we do have our duo concert coming up on Wednesday.
Yes.
8 p.m. Eastern on the Open Studio YouTube channel. That's coming up. You can check out all our live events because we're going to listen to Sonny Rollins Saxophone Colossus Tuesday night.
Yep.
At 8 p.m.
Yep.
And then Wednesday night, we are going to play
Yes.
the entire Saxophone Colossus record note for... No, we're not going to do
Yes,
that.
we are. Well, we might. We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Shout out to Amy on here, who's... I think she's going to be a part of that Wednesday night thing. Some
3
capacity.
pianos?
No.
Okay.
No. We could never fit that in here.
So, yeah, we want to thank everybody. And then, look, we are at... I don't mean to get greedy, but...
Do it.
Really? We're at 86. Oh, no, we're not. We're at 50 likes. We're at 86 people. 50. Can we get to 60? We're not going to leave this live until we get to 60.
Oh, that's the fastest way to get it. We will finish the live at 60.
We're going to go like this until we get to...
I don't know.
Look.
I don't know how you get away with holding people hostage. Oh, that's what
we're going
doing?
to that until you come back. No, let's get to 60. Actually, you know what? What would be even more important? We were talking about the different lives. We're going live tomorrow. We're doing the live. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already, because that's great. But then you also press the little bell. It looks like a little fist or whatever, because then you get notifications. And who doesn't want more notifications on their devices at this point?
Yeah, don't we all?
Nobody. No, but you might want to be notified whenever we go live spontaneously. It gives you a little reminder, maybe sends you an email. But it's the good kind of notification. It's not like you got to pay a bill kind of notification.
We're at 60. Get out of here.
Oh, we're at 60. Okay, cool. I'm going to try to find the video.
What video?
The video. This one.
And keep going here.
See y'all next time.
You'll hear it.
Dopey.